have come and said, hey, you need to get with him, you need to partner with him. And so, I'm always looking to partner with people that are innovative, that are cutting edge, and that also have integrity, right? Because it's not just good enough that you're talented, but I got to make sure that your character actually meets the talent. Okay, somebody said they can't hear me. Do you want to, can everybody else hear me? So anyway, yeah, make sure your volume is up too. I think everybody else can hear me, I believe. Make sure that your volume is set up on the side. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, so I always want to make sure that I'm partnering with people that are integrity and that we can trust. And so there's a lot going on with the Millionaires Club that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. As a matter of fact, I have another wholesaler that I'll probably be introducing you to at some point pretty soon. And as a matter of fact, I just purchased a $20,000 property from him cash, and he's going to put it right back on the market this week for $65,000. And then we also have this woman. I told her, I said, you really are onto something. She has a huge group of investors that she's able to help real estate investors, and particularly get approved for, rental property, whether it's commercial property or residential property. So there are a lot of cool people that we're going to be bringing on and talking to you all that will allow you to kind of open up and start playing in this world of real estate and investing. Honey, say hey to everybody.
Hey guys, millionaires and millionaires.
Yay, yay. So we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Please make sure that you get your tickets to the Getaway. I don't want you all to miss that. That thing is going to be absolutely fire, 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 fire. You don't want to miss it. So please make sure that you get your ticket to the Getaway. Bring your sister, bring your girlfriend, bring your mommy, bring your daughter, your cousin, best friend, whoever. It's going to be a great time to really position yourself, to submerge yourself in wealth building principles, and then also be around other people that are bold in their faith and moving out in their faith and not afraid. You have some people who talk about, they talk about stuff, but then it's a whole nother level of boldness when you start getting with people who are actually making moves and making things happen. And so I really want to encourage you all, if you haven't gotten your ticket to the Getaway, make sure you definitely get your ticket to the Getaway. I don't want you guys to miss that. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so powerful and so fabulous and a ton of fun. Okay. So go ahead. You still have time real quick to go ahead and shoot over a text and tell your friends and your family to get on Facebook Live. They'll have an opportunity to get some insight into, why I even started the club, and, a lot of the benefits that they're going to get, the value of why I think being a part of a club like this is so, 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 so vitally important. So anyway, I just to kind of recap, because I know that we're getting ready to go live. We're getting ready to bring Jay Morrison on, but I just want to kind of recap why I even started the club. See, baby? One of the reasons that I even felt led to start the club in the first place was because I met and talked to, and honest to God, I literally talked to a woman this afternoon, and she said she had 10 children, y'all. 10. I was like, oh, Father, God, bless her, Lord. But anyway, she said she had 10 children, and she reached out to me because she wants to learn how to trade, start learning how to trade Forex and cryptocurrency. And she said, I went through a really bad divorce, and, I'm just at a point where, like, I don't have anything. I'm literally rebuilding, like, everything. And so I was listening to her story, I said, this is exactly why I even started the Millionaires Club, because I was running into way too many women who were in very bad economic positions just because they were like, oh, girl, well, I'm going to let my husband take care of that, or I'm going to let my boyfriend take care of that, or I'm going to let my mom or my daddy take care of that. And it doesn't mean that those people mean you any ill will, but sometimes people just don't have a capacity that allows them for you to depend on your livelihood or even living your dream. And my story, most of you know my story. I was married before, and I was married to a man that was abusive, and One day he just called and said he wasn't coming back. And, I was like, well, praise the Lord, because you're crazy anyway. But my point is that, I said, you know what, I need to put myself in a position, first of all, to never be in a position like this a day in my life. It is unacceptable in the first place for me to be relying on somebody else. I went from being taken care of by my daddy and then dating drug dealers, and then they started getting indicted and dying. And then I just realized, I believe Holy Spirit just asked me, why can't you take care of yourself? Why can't you live, why can't you put yourself in a position where you live your dream? Why can't you produce that? And so from that point on, I just believe, God began to divinely connect me with multimillionaires that schooled me in hard assets like oil wells and gold and silver and all those great, cool things. And so I've been blessed. And so I want every woman, I really want every man too, don't get me wrong, but I definitely want every woman to put herself in a position where you learn how to trust your own financial gut. You learn how to trust your own financial instinct. Sometimes we ask people what they think and they're not qualified or credible to give you an answer, and then you follow them, right? And then you wonder, why you're not necessarily where you always dreamed about you should be. And so this is an opportunity for you to join a club like this where you can position yourself to really, really get around people that have your best interests and not are going to allow you to choke, not going to allow you to say, well, wait, well, maybe next time, well, maybe it's, it's not my time, it's just your time. No, it's all of our time. You just got to make a decision, it's your time, and then start making some moves. And so anyway, I was really excited when I heard what Jay Morrison had put together where real estate is concerned. And I was like, this is just very innovative. It's very creative. I definitely think it's huge. And, anybody that, first of all, I wouldn't partner with anything that I didn't think was huge. That's first of all. And then second of all, it's raining out here in these Atlanta streets. Anyway, no, that's good, baby. So anyway, I wouldn't partner with anybody that I didn't feel like was doing big things and making big moves. And, the one thing that I really, really appreciate about him, he's very grounded, very humble, just from even watching them. You know how you can watch people and you can kind of tell how they rolling. And I love people with, no ego. Like, listen, we just want to make change. We want to build the community. We want to impact lives and ultimately help to raise up our people in our community to become cash and asset millionaires. That's exactly where we need to be, because at the end of the day, you cannot complain about what you're not willing to change. And so I'm really proud of what he's been able to put together. Him and his team and his fiance are really doing some remarkable things. I really think that we're at the beginning of a Airbnb. We're at the beginning of an Uber. We're at the beginning of an Apple. And those people that invested in those particular companies in the beginning stages when nobody really still knew their name and they really didn't maybe even understand the concept. And I think that's what happens sometimes. We are slow to move on things and we feel like it's so new. But I'm telling you right now, I've made millions of dollars in startups. Startups are most of the time where you see millionaires and billionaires birth. And so, Jay, I'm excited to have you on tonight, brother. Are you on?
I am on, Boss Queen. I'm excited to be with you and your Millionaires Club. How the Queen's doing tonight?
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're so excited, about everything that you're doing. I love how cutting edge it is. I love how creative it is. I love how innovative it is. And I think I really wanted to put some focus on that, because sometimes as a community, when we hear something new, we automatically, if your mind hasn't been renewed, you just start thinking, oh no, it's a scam. It's like,
right.
It's not. No, you like, no, it's not a scam.
It's different, so it has to be. and then it's coming from somebody that looks like us. There's no way that we can figure this kind of stuff out.
Exactly. So just take it away. Share with kind of your concept, how it all got started, because I know you've been out here in these streets for a while, doing your thing on real estate, and it just kind of evolved and kind of took on a life on its own. So just kind of share with us that process and why I think this is so important for people to move on something like this.
Yeah, so absolutely. So good evening, everyone. And I want to thank you, Jewel, for inviting me to your platform, your intimate circle. I mean, I don't take that for granted. And I want to make the time tonight just to share with everyone that we have a vehicle now. We have something, and just the hard work's been done, but it doesn't mean anything until we're all on board. The hard work's been done. We have been qualified and approved by the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, the federal government. We've been qualified to run and manage this Regulation A Tier 2 real estate investment fund, a real estate crowd fund, which allows everyone to invest in this company and in real estate assets together, where the burden doesn't have to be on one person to help buy back our blocks or build Black Wall Streets or redevelop our communities. Now we don't have to wait for an Oprah or a Jay-Z or somebody to come save us. We can save ourselves. And it's an opportunity where everyone can invest in real estate for as little as $500 to own 10 shares of our June 1st IPO, initial public offering of a Tulsa real estate fund. And I'm going to backtrack in a second. I'm going to tell you off the rip what it is, right? Off the very beginning, it is an initial public offering we're having June 1st. Tulsa is named after the historic and monumental African community in America, Black community in America of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was burned down just 98 years ago on June 1st, right, of 1921. This historic community of over 36 square blocks of over 2,000 homes and businesses, airplanes, bus lines, movie theaters, hospitals, hotels, all that. We owned our own in this radius, and it was all bombed, literally bombed from the sky. The first bomb that was ever dropped on American soil was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on our community, and massacred. They report hundreds, of lives lost. I'm not just hashtagging Black Wall Street or naming my company Tulsa. My fiance and I, Ernestine Johnson, we've been on the ground, literally on Black Wall Street. We've seen the burn marks still on the bricks of the historic properties. They still have the burn marks on the bricks from the bombings.
Wow.
And so we've been there, and the reports from locals is that there were thousands of lives lost. Over $2 million of insurance claims lost as well, which is equivalent to over $30 million in today's value, right? And so anyway, that's why we named our fund Tulsa, is because, and I'm going to backtrack, I've been in real estate, for those who don't know, for over a decade now, 12 years. I got into real estate in 2005 as a loan officer, worked my way to manage 2 mortgage branches. As a realtor, worked my way to being a celebrity realtor, as a real estate expert for NBC's Today Show. I had constant features on NBC's Open House NYC as a celebrity realtor. I've worked with all type of high-end professional athlete and celebrity clientele, but also was an investor from day one. Was an investor, purchased my first multifamily home in 2005, 3 by 26, 6 by 27, made my first $1 million in real estate by 28 years old. Coming out of no college education, coming out of the streets. I was one of those dope boys, one of those street guys you were talking about, who I was relying on my women to have the credit and to be financially astute. All I'm going to do is go hustle and get a bag. And I will rely on the woman in my life to take care of the financial budgeting and responsibility and, didn't level up, right? So for the first 10 years of my life, from 15 to 25, I was in the streets and end up facing 3 years of life in prison at 18 years old for drug trafficking, served 2.5 years in prison in 3 different states. High school dropout at 16 years old, poverty, welfare kid. And so I was able to turn all this around at 25 through real estate investing, have owned, multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, et cetera, right? All these stats, 2-time best-selling author. I go on for days on resume, but it's not about resume right now. I wanted to give some context, and I'm sure Jules' cosign is enough, because she co-signed me. I'm here. That should be enough for you right now, the fact that I'm here. But if you look me up, you Google me, you'll see my resume is valid. But
I think you're standing in front of the crib right now, right?
Yeah, no,
this is not, in front of the crib.
This is no. I'm invited to some friends' houses. They're doing well for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm invited. I can't even say who the friend is, but yeah, they're doing well for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Everyone knows their name, but anyway, And they invited me over, not just for the Game 7 of the NBA playoffs. They invited me over to talk about Tulsa Real Estate Fund. But through my years of real estate, when I always noticed, whenever we had a great project, an apartment building, I see a strip mall, some land for sale. Did you know, I'm from New Jersey, by the way, the New Jersey Turnpike is a privately held company? Like, private people own the New Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway. And I remember being 25, 26 years old, like, I want to own that. I want to own some big stuff. Like, I want to do more than 2-family and 3-family homes. But what I noticed is that when gentrification is happening, when you see the major developments, the city centers, the way they're pulling these deals together is because individuals in small little groups are poor. It's typically 99% of the time, it's not one person. Almost ever is it one person just buying up all these cities and land and turnpikes and stadiums and all this kind of stuff. It's a conglomerate. One person might be the face, but it's an investment group that does it.
Yeah.
And usually that group is typically of one nationality, ethnicity, or community, and they all get together and say, let's buy up half of Newark, redevelop it, raise the price, kick the locals out, and now we have our new Starbucks, our new city center, etc. It's called gentrification. So but as I invested and I've done well for myself, I was like, why are we never the plug? Why do we always got to go outside of ourselves to go to someone else to ask them to loan us money, to borrow money, invest in our ideas and projects? I was like, why can't we, pull our resources together to do this, right? And so this concept actually started. I was frontline. Many of you know me for my social activism. Just this last year, my fiance and I led a major boycott with TI of the Houston's restaurant chain, Hillstone's Restaurants, which we shut down in Lenox for discriminating us when trying to be seated. I've been a part of national protests for Alton Sterling when he was murdered in Baton Rouge, frontline. I've been a part of the Freddie Gray protest in Baltimore when the Freddie Gray uprising happened. And this is where this idea really got kicked into motion. So for years, I've tried to figure out how we can basically back ourselves up, bank ourselves, have our own, bag, right? But was not being as intentional about it as I should. When the Freddie Gray uprising happened in Baltimore, and they were burning down the CVS's and all the news was everywhere. I led a major march down to City Hall. BET ended up busing up a lot of Baltimore residents, Bloods and Crips. They all had united around this Freddie Gray incident against the police. And during this BET panel I was a part of with Tamika Mallory and Mark Lamont Hill, they asked, what do you all think the solution is? And someone from the crowd said, we need to control our community. And specifically said, we need to build a Black Wall Street, yo. And I was like, okay. Everybody's like, yeah, we need to build a Black Wall Street, yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool, that's my lane. What's up? And so, but I said, if we're going to talk that build the Black Wall Street talk, and I just explained to everyone who didn't know, because they didn't teach it to us in schools, what Black Wall Street was. But if we're going to build a Black Wall Street, how does that look? How do you get there? What's the vehicle? What's the infrastructure? How do we trust each other? How is it transparent? How is it regulated? How do we control our dollars, right? And so that's when I really got to work doing the research of how does this work? And what I found out was that up until 2012, that unaccredited investors could not publicly offer or publicly market any kind of funds, hedge funds, venture capital funds, real estate funds. Only accredited investors can invest in those funds and those ideas and concepts. Accredited meaning people who made over $250,000 a year or had a net worth over $2 million. So since the Great Depression up until 2012, none of us who made less than $250 a year or had a net worth under $2 million could invest in any funds. We were boxed out. President Obama gave us a Trojan horse and passed a law called the Jobs Act, which then opened up for non-accredited investors, those who make less than $250 a year or net worth less than $2 million, to now participate in the same kind of funds and opportunities. And so through my research, I said, that's the one I need right there. I need to be able to get the everyday person, a working class person, people that grew up like me and you, to be able to chip in, invest, and have ownership. I'm not talking about a GoFundMe. I'm not talking about trusting our pastor with a collection plate. I'm talking about where we all can put up dollars, but have ownership and be a stakeholder in the investments that we do as a community. And so fast forward 2.5 years of investment, of research, of lawyers, of attorneys, of auditors, of accountants, of everything we had to do, we created the first 100% African American, I don't even use that term, I say African in America, but Black owned, the first 100% Black owned and operated Regulation A Tier 2 real estate crowdfund in the country. First ever in history. Right now. Like that. That way.
That's crazy. I think you said the last person that tried to do this was Marcus Garvey.
In 1919, 99 years ago, the only Black man ever in history was Marcus Garvey offered public shares of his company, the Black Star Line, to the public. He was the first and only since 1919 to offer public shares of his company to the public as owners for the advancement of our community. And it's not been done in 1990 years until June 1st, coming up in 4-5 days from now.
Woo!
Yeah,
that's awesome. So you just laid that whole thing out. I really love what you said about the collaborations and the partnerships. So when you see huge companies or huge developers, like you said, it's rare that it's one person. I mean,
Very
even
rare.
when you look at some of the uber wealthy, Bill Gates runs with Richard Branson, that runs with Roger Hamilton, like it's a squad.
Everybody pairing up. It's called syndicates and conglomerates.
Mm.
Nobody wants to take on all the risk. Hey, I got a good idea. We can redevelop this town, but look, I got half on it. Now, can you come in or can you do a third, right? So, hey, so we split the risk, but we split the rewards. So now as a community, it don't got to be on one person to do all developing Detroit. We all seen the house in Detroit going for $1,000, $2,000. Newark, New Jersey, Oakland, Miami, Atlanta, Bankhead, all over the country, Chicago. We see it, but as a community, we haven't organized ourselves or had any infrastructure to be able to go sophisticatedly take advantage of these opportunities right in our hoods. We watching everybody else come to our neighborhood, scoop up all the real estate for the low, go to the sheriff's sales, the auctions, the probate court. When we go to sheriff's sales, we got a couple little dollars, but they got the Jewish guys all in a bunch over there, and they go rack up because they pull their money together and they getting the best deals in the city. So now we're going to change all of that. We're going to be solution driven, right? So now we have this fund that is first and foremost transparent. Everyone gets their own account. You can see your investment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can see where your money's at, what we've raised, where your dividends are due, the deal details. Ain't no hiding. It's full transparency. Our full operating agreement, subscription agreement, our circular, operating memorandum, all on scc.gov. Search Edgar search, Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Everything you want to know about the company. Our audit, our books are transparent. No hiding the books. You know where the money's at.
You know exactly where your money is at. So, okay, because there are a couple things I want to make sure we cover. So, first of all, people that want to invest in that can invest June 1st. And you can do $500, which will give you 10 shares. If you do $1,000 respectively, it'll go on up, okay?
Yep, 20 shares, 10,200 shares. Right.
But they have to do it June 1st if they want to be a founder.
Yes, you can invest any day after June 1st until we reach our mandated maximum is $50 million, the most we can raise under this particular tier fund. It's $50 million. So until we reach $50 million, you can invest. But if you want to be a founder, an honorary founder, meaning your name goes down, not just on our website, it's going to go on our website, but your name is going to go etched in stone of the statue, the plaque, the monument, the memorial, and the bricks of the properties, the first project that we do, your name will go down in history as an honorary Black Wall Street founder.
All right.
If you invest.
So me and being on there, I'm telling you right now, yes. We got that. We got the trigger money already in the account.
I want my plaque to be different from her plaque because she always taking over all my shine anyway. Give me my separate plaque.
I'm how you to the side.
Okay, so if they want to invest, they got to invest June 1st, right?
Yes. Yep.
And any day after that, they will not be an original founder.
Correct. You will not be an honorary founder any day after that, but you will still be a shareholder. You'll be a partner, right? You'll be a stakeholder. Like you have own. Here's the cool part, Jewel. A single mom, right? Who, remind you, I'm not saying people should invest their last. I'm not saying don't invest more than you can lose. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that think about the money we scrape up for Christmas or for birthdays or for holidays, that $500 you spend for Christmas so your kids can feel good for one day. And they don't even play with the toys 2 weeks later. A single mom can invest $500 or married woman or whomever can invest $500. We go acquire a hotel, a school, a hospital, or whatever it is. She can literally ride by with her children and say, we ain't got much, but we own a piece of that right there. Remember when Jay-Z had 0.01% of the Nets? Jay-Z owned like 0.01% of the Nets, but he was a proud new owner of the Nets. No excuses, no regrets. He was rapping about it as an owner. We got the same pride in our minority stake ownership of this $50 million fund that we can leverage to a $150 million fund with debt financing and mezzanine financing and gap financing and all the creative tools out there to go handle our business as a community. And each investor gets an 8% preferred return. So on your 500, 1,000, 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000, or 5 million, On your investment, you get an 8% preferred return, and we've given you 50% of the profit. So this is not like your mutual fund, your 401k, your pension, your IRA, your savings account, where you get 2, 3, 4, 5% if you're lucky, maybe 6%. And then Merrill Lynch takes your money, goes, buys up all the real estate and assets, and gives you back some crumbs. No, we give you an 8% preferred return, meaning before we see any profits, you get your 8%. After that 8%, any profits we make on our investments and developments, we split 50-50 with the crowd and the fund managers.
And the first year is going to be paid out the first year one time, and then every year after that, it's going to be every quarter. Dividends will be paid out.
Yeah. So the first year is a 1-year lockup. So this is a mid to long term investment. So it's a 1-year lockup. It's not a flip. Right? If you want to learn how to flip, we can teach you how to flip in the J. Morrison Academy, and Julie's going to help us with that. We're going to give you a link for that. If you want to learn how to flip, you want to be coached, you want to learn how to wholesale real estate, be a landlord. That's called active real estate investing. That's fine. But if you want a passive real estate investing, meaning where the money is working for you, you have the experts working for you, you're part of a larger syndicate in a whole real estate investment fund. This passive investment is a 1-year lockup, and then after that 1 year, we pay out dividends quarterly on profits and your 8% pref.
That is so huge. So they can either take the dividends, they can either take the profit, or they can say, I want to reinvest and buy more shares.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, genius. Okay. Now, so there's another part to this too. Talk about your academy, because there's some of you that I know right now want to, and Jay and I are also going to be doing business on the Forex crypto side.
We are. Yeah. About the bag.
So talk about the academy, because some people are like, hey, I want to invest, but then I also want to come to school. What will they get in the academy?
So we have one of the best online wealth education institutes in the world, and we focus on real estate entrepreneurship. We have all types of courses. So for those, no matter what your budget is, if you want to understand how to acquire real estate, how to start your company, brand your business, how to evaluate deals, how do you look at a flip and know what the ROI is going to be, what your after repair value is going to be. You want to know all that terminology. You want to understand how to be a real estate entrepreneur, meaning you make money off real estate, whether it's with little cash or credit, creative financing, FHA loans, VA loans, hard money, soft money, how to be a landlord, how to manage your team. Any of that you want to know?
All of that.
All of that?
All of that.
Right. So all of that we will teach you in the academy. And the cool part is that it's online training, but we do weekly mentorship calls. So every single week you get a mentorship call. We have a private student community where we do, private webinars. Any of our other lectures we do, just throughout just coming and goings, all that gets dumped into the academy. So it is like our focus to provide you with mucho value. Our wealth mastery program has over 156 lessons, over 6 courses, and will really break down to you in layman's terms. That's one of my biggest gifts, is that I know how to teach real estate and financial empowerment in a very relatable and comprehensible way. That's the gift God gave me. We do it on the street corners in our corner class. There's over 50 cities of teaching real estate and entrepreneurship on the street corner, literally, with a flip chart. We'll give you that same game online and show you how to buy your first home. How to buy your second home, how to live in one side and rent the others out, how to, take advantage of the tax advantages of real estate, the appreciation, the equity, all those things that we should know, not just for ourselves, but so we can give back to our family. So our kids don't got to grow up guessing the same things we've been guessing and trying to figure out that the schools won't teach us. So that link, Jewel, what's the link for us? Is jeweltankard.com/real estate?
That's it. You got
That's it. All right. So listen, for anybody, seriously, so I do online training and we do one-on-one coaching. We'll coach you on wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling is so cool because it's just being a middleman or middlewoman, right? You identify deals, you evaluate them, you put a contract on those deals. Now you own the purchase rights, right? Now you can assign or sell that contract to a larger investor, someone with more money than you. Got you. Right after this, right? So you put a contract on those properties and you assign it to an investor for a fee, and you literally make money just being a middleman. So you literally put a contract on the property, assign it to somebody else, make money and cash out. And we have students doing almost 6 figures a month just doing that. So there's all kind of opportunities, not to mention being a landlord, and it's so many opportunities in real estate. But again, whether you want to actively invest or passively invest, and we have funding for you. We have a program called Easy Funding, where if you're a business owner or a real estate investor and you want uncollateralized funding, no tax returns needed, no bank statements needed, no W-2s needed, and you want to get funding as little as 3 days. So far, we funded up to $131,000 in 3 days. Has been our fastest record. but we can fund you up to $250,000 in 1 year of unsecured, uncollateralized funding with just a 680 credit score. You can also go to jeweltankard.com/real estate, and you'll see the link for the funding. For your passive investment through Tulsa Real Estate Fund to become a founder or a shareholder later on, or for our coaching or our online trainings. I'll do one-on-one coaching and sit you down myself, and we'll go over your plan as well for those who want to get more intimate, high-level training.
Brother, that is all like so super huge. And so 2 things just to repeat real quick. You can invest and do the shares. And remember, $500 for every 10 shares. Some of you might just have cash sitting in the bank. This is a good time to go ahead and invest, because remember, savers are ultimately losers. You need to become an investor. You should always have liquidity on hand. Don't get me wrong, but you got to put your money in the ground where it can actually work for you. And those are some really strong returns. Jay, I'm really impressed with that 8% return, 50-50 split on all the profits on anything that they're doing, renting the property or buying and selling the property. All those things are huge. And then also some of you might be saying, listen, I need to go back to school. So they can go locally to the academy on site. Is that right? Or is it just all online?
Yeah, we're going to have the local campuses in 2019, but right now, all online. You guys can learn. It's online, learn at your own pace. You have your own student login. You get your weekly mentorship calls for 1 year. So you have mentors to reach out to. We have a strong student community that all support each other. We help, they help fund deals and just everything you need in regards to becoming a real estate entrepreneur and just figuring out how to get that bag actively yourself. And then if you want to invest in like hotels and apartment complexes and larger projects with Tulsa Real Estate Fund, $50 a share, minimum 10 shares is $500 minimum. But we encourage you, stack a rack, put up 10, especially if you have money working for you and you talk about your 401ks, your self-directed IRAs, your pensions, your savings account, and that money is, you have to ask yourself, are the institutions where you have your savings parked, do those institutions share your core values? Do they care about your community? Are they impacting your community? And are they splitting profits with you? Ask yourself that.
No, you have to ask yourself that. So let's just do a little bit of speculation. Somebody puts in $10,000 and they just let it sit. Let's just say they let it sit 5 years. And of course, it's all hypothetical because we don't know, right?
Yep.
But what would you say on average do you think their money would grow on average over the next 5 years?
Okay, so let's take it like this. So on that $10,000, we look at the opportunity cost of that. If it were sitting in your shoebox or your mattress or whatever, it'd be getting 0%, actually losing 3% a year because of the cost of living and inflation.
Exactly.
If it were in a 3-year CD, locked up in the bank for 3 years in a CD, you'd be getting about 3%, meaning $300 on that $10,000. If it were sitting in your mutual fund, getting you say 4 or 5%, you'd be getting $400 or $500 on that $10,000, right? In a mutual fund or IRA or most 401ks, right? So now in Tulsa, just with the 8%, you'd be bringing in $800 a year, just with your 8% preferred return, which accrues over every year, which right now beats, right? Now, say Tulsa invested that $10,000 of your portion, just say in tax liens, where we went to all the local city governments and we just killed the tax lien share sales, where we just scooped up everything. And on tax liens, we're averaging 20% return on investment just on tax liens. Not to mention the houses that we actually recovered from the tax lien, and now we own the whole house for just a few grand. And we sell that house in the market and really sting them. But just at the minimum, if the person whose tax lien it was comes back and they pay it off, they have to pay their initial lien plus 20%. So if it were 20%, that would mean you would get your 8% first, then there will be 12% left over. And of that 12% left over, we split it 50-50, so you get 6 and we get 6. So that'd be a total 14% ROI on your investment just off tax liens on a 20% ROI. Not to mention if we had bought some properties for $3,500 and we're able to sell them at $70,000, bought some at $35,000, we're able to sell them at $300,000 and split those profits as well. Or did a condo conversion, or did the cryptocurrency mining warehouse, or did the historic Butler City YMCA we're doing in Atlanta where Dr. King once slept. We're redeveloping that. So these are the opportunities we got. So it's all speculation, all hypothetical. I'm giving you no guarantees. But remember, this is a regulated fund, y'all. This is regulated, and they watching me. So that we got to say everything right. But
I love that it's transparent. I love that the books are transparent. So you can go
It's
on
what
there
it
and see
is.
your account at any time, see what's going on with the Tulsa Fund at any time. So listen, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to be doing this
Love. Thank
again.
you.
Also, Jay and his fiance are going to be at the Millionaires Conference in 2019. So y'all need to get ready to get your tickets for that. But Jay, I'm going to make sure, I know that they're blowing up the chat right now. I just want to thank you so much. Ben and I are very proud of you and, excited for what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
We're definitely getting ours in on June 1st. You already know I wouldn't even be bringing him on here unless Ben and I believed in what he was doing and we trusted it. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have time for shenanigans. Jay doesn't have time for shenanigans. We're out here really, really on a mission to raise up cash and asset millionaires in our community. So, Jay, any last things you want to tell them?
Oh, man, I want to say I appreciate y'all. King Ben, appreciate you. Y'all here in Atlanta. Hopefully we can bump into each other while y'all here. And just what I said to everyone else, man, like this is an opportunity for us to do something that we have never been able to do in our community, to do something for ourselves. And I just hope everyone's a part of history. Like, let's go down history books together.
Let's do it. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boss Queen. All right, peace.
All right, see ya. Okay, listen, all of you that were on here tonight, this is, I wanted to do this on Facebook. Usually this would have just been the club, but I wanted to do this on Facebook because I wanted you all to have an opportunity of some of the benefits that you would have with joining the Millionaires Club. It's just $29 a month. I kept it really reasonable because I wanted the average girl. I wanted the housewife who's maybe not bringing in any money. I wanted the girl who's, maybe just barely getting by, or it doesn't matter really what your state is, but I wanted the average person to learn how to build wealth. The reality is money impacts every single area of our lives, right? It impacts where we send our kids to school. It impacts whether or not they go to camp at the Boys and Girls Club, or they go to Europe, or it impacts whether or not you shop at Piggly Wiggly or Whole Foods. Like, it impacts when you lay your head down. I mean, it literally impacts like your entire quality of life. And I think sometimes you get used to surviving so much that you don't even really realize that, you know what, I'm kind of stuck financially. And the only way to get unstuck is to start to make moves. I can tell you right now, most of the things that I do, it's not because logistically I understand everything, but I follow my belly. I follow my gut. I follow that thing that tells me, girl, you need to get up and you need to go and do this, and be willing to learn as you go. And then what happens is when you get on the other side of that, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then you realize, I just became passionate. Like, I want to teach everybody this. I want to teach everybody how to, trust that gut and then go, because what you do today is going to impact 2019. I mean, honestly, within the next 6 months, we're about to go over into 2019. And sometimes in order to change your financial pattern, you have to change your financial relationships, right? Those relationships become very, very, very critical for your success, because you will become what you hear all the time. So if you hang around people that's scary and I don't think so and I don't know and I gotta see and I gotta then what'll end up happening is you'll end up having a ton of missed opportunities. And so sometimes people are like, man, it seems like you always got something going. I do, but it's because I don't keep passing by opportunities. When I see an opportunity and it bears witness with my spirit, I'm walking out in it. I trust that Holy Spirit is always endeavoring to take me to the next level. He's always endeavoring to stretch me. He's always endeavoring to challenge me. Why? Because everything about God is perpetual. He wants there to be perpetual increase in every single area of your life. But you have to make a decision. It takes two things to become wealthy. First of all, you got to make a decision, and then second of all, you got to start. If you keep procrastinating in every single area of your life, then you're going to continue to find yourself, not coming into the fullness of your dream. Right now, I can honestly say that Ben and I are living our best lives, and we know there's so much more, right? We know there's so much more than what we've even experienced now. We're grateful for where we are now, but we know there's so much more. So we continue to align ourselves with those kinds of partnerships, right? And so I just want to encourage those of you that are listening right now, get on JewelTankard.com, sign up for the Millionaires Club. It's $29 a month. We do 2 live webinars a month, and I bring on strategic business partners that I do business with, that I'm invested in, that I trust, right? And we have a lot going on right now with real estate that is pretty. I'm just impressed. I'm impressed with what the Lord has done, because I'm sure that it is Him, and I'll just put all of these pieces together. But I'm not the kind of person that if I do a deal, I want to tell everybody. You know why? Because I want you to know that if I did it, if God did it for this little brown girl, that He can do it for you. So I'm gonna always be fully transparent. Hey, I just did this. This is how I did it. You know, this is where I'm at in it, or this is how we're putting together the deal. Why? Because I think that people need to understand the process sometimes more than they just see the promise. It's good to look at somebody's life and be inspired by it, but it's also good to know, well, how did they negotiate that on Monday? Or how did they handle when they were rejected? Or how did they handle when this person told them no? So anyway, I'm just really, really excited about our future. I'm excited about what's happening. I want to open it up. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Does anybody have any questions about anything before I get ready to go? Is there anything that I need to address? Maybe I think you can start heading over there, love. Does anybody have any questions that I need to address before we hang up? I also want to say I'm doing a Millionairess Getaway October the 11th through the 13th, Palm Springs, California. Palm Springs, California. Now, let me tell you something. I got some hitters coming out there, boy, baby. That thing is going to be life-changing. You need to definitely bring your sister, bring your girlfriend, bring your best friend. We only have a couple spots left. It's like $1,000. That getaway is going to be amazing. There are going to be some serious innovators there that have a very strong revelation on cryptocurrency, Forex, and cargominiums. Also another very innovative way of building a house, building an apartment building, building a shopping mall, whatever you want to build. You literally can build now with a savings of about 60%. My God, save 60% on building. So if you're thinking about building a house, you need to be there. We're going to be talking about creating your brand, app development. It's going to be amazing. October 11th through the 13th, Millionairess Getaway. Get on JewelTankard.com and click on the getaway. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Is there anything? Let me see if there are any questions here in this chat. Okay. All right. Any of my team? Did I miss anything? I think I got everything covered. All right. Well, I love you guys, and thank you so much for getting on. Have an amazing night. And remember, you can have it all. God bless.